Society of Jesus is commonly known as the Jesuits. Now, the Jesuits were founded by St. Ignatius of Loyola in Spain about 500 years ago. The Jesuits are all over the world. They are found all over the world, and they run different apostolic works from universities to parishes, retreat centers, supporting migrants. So we have a big organization called Jesuit Refugee Service and many other apostolates that are very important for the mission of the church. Now, Jesuits are both priests and brothers. Now, many people know about the fathers, so the Jesuit fathers. But even then, the Jesuits are more known as fathers, and especially in some countries, they are much more known than, say, in our region. In our region, we know other congregations, the Mill Hills, the Dominicans, the Franciscans, but Jesuits are also part of the many congregations that work in the church. Now, the fathers are, like any other fathers, much more visible. They are much more out there, and they carry out a sacramental ministry as well as other ministries. The brothers, on the other hand, do not carry out what is classically a sacramental ministry. So as brothers, we don't administer sacraments, and that's one of the distinguishing marks between a priest and a brother. Brothers in the Society of Jesus are not as many in numbers compared to priests, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why many young people do not know that Jesuits also have brothers. And because of the smaller number, the Jesuits were much more visible are priests, but there are brothers. Now, what do brothers do in the Society of Jesus? Many ministries. They give retreats, they teach, they participate in catechism, and they do many works at home, for example, being at the service of the community, what we call like a minister. They do many, many other works. Well, as a Jesuit brother, I have immersed myself, and the society allows me to immerse myself in the full mission of the Catholic Church. I am one of the church members in what's categorized as a religious. So religious people are dedicated, just as any other priest is dedicated to the mission of the church. We take vows like any other religious person, and so as a brother, I'm fully in the mission of Christ, participating in the everyday evangelization work that the Lord calls us to do. I also, as a brother, I participate by teaching in the university, working in our Center for Justice and Peace. I carry out other works that are relevant for the mission of the church, not only in Kenya, not only in our province, but as part of the global mission of the church. As brothers, we also find ourselves working alongside priests. So it's not a mission that's independent of the bigger work of priesthood as we find it in the sacrament of baptism. It's one and same mission. The only difference is that I wouldn't be saying Mass here in confession, but anything else, working with the poor, supporting people who are suffering, raising awareness on matters of conscience, promoting the teaching of the Catholic Church, particularly the socio-Catholic teaching, any other works. I am fully there, giving myself, like any other person who feels called to do the mission of the Lord, to respond to the call of the Lord. So it's very much one and same call, but the way it's carried out, that's the only part that is different. So anyone who is interested in becoming a brother, particularly in the Society of Jesus, you are called to a mission. You are called and you choose that mission yourself after doing a retreat, after doing the spiritual exercises. So you get into the side of Jesus. You become a Jesuit, and then you become a brother or you become a priest. But we're one body, one corporate body of the side of Jesus. And you can be sent anywhere like anyone else. You can study anywhere like anyone else. You are formed like anyone else. So there is no much difference in terms of becoming a Jesuit. How you live out that Jesuit now, you can be priest, you can be brother, but the mission is one and same. Brothers in the Society of Jesus, I formed to be Jesuits, first and foremost to be Jesuits. So they go to the novitiate 2 years together with the scholastics. And then after that, depending on your background, what you'll have done, you can go for philosophy, you can go for specialized training. You can, from there, the Jesuit formation is very much sensitive to individual characteristics and individual needs. And so you may go for philosophy, you may go for teaching, you may go for counseling, you may go for computer science. So it depends on where you are or where you are at the point of entry. But then you have to go a full formation, meaning what? You have to do spiritual formation, so you have to do some basic theology, you have to do some basic philosophy, you have to do whether some specialization, be it in humanities or sciences, as depending on the gifts God has endowed you with. And then finally you take vows like anyone else, like the priest, you take vows. And then you become a formed member of the Society of Jesus. So in terms of formation of brothers, you are given a chance to be fully formed for the needs of our time. So you're not like in the old tradition where brothers were left to do the garden work, to work in the garage, which was a big need at the time. But as the world has become more complex, there is need for full intellectual formation, spiritual formation, and even physical formation. If you're considering to be a Jesuit brother, realize that first and foremost, this is a call from God. It's not your own call, it's a call from God. And secondly, realize that it's a full vocation. You are not a half a priest, and you are not half in, you are not half formed. No, it's a full vocation, it's a call from God with its own fulfillment and fulfillment at the same time. And it's a call that will place you at the service of the church. So there is no like, this is better than the other. They are different. So if you feel called to serve, particularly, and as some of our forefathers have said, in the background, as a brother, you are not so much visible out there. You don't have the privilege of, if you will, if you call it so, to be at the altar. So people know Father, people will call you. As a brother, you work very much in the background, but equally carrying out a mission of the church that's very important, that's very crucial, depending on your gifts, depending on your talents, and depending on your own capacities, what you are able to do within the call and the mission of the Society of Jesus, where you can be called to work anywhere and where you can be asked to do anything. So, and that brings us to the whole question of vows. The vows we take, if you join as a brother, know that the vows you take are the vows the priests take. They are not different. So you have a full vocation like anyone else. Well, there are many brothers who inspire me, some living, some in the past. And it's important to realize that many brothers tend to look at St. Joseph, the spouse of our Mother Mary, as the ultimate inspiration, that he was the father of our Lord, but it's very hard to hear about him. It's rare to hear about St. Joseph as the father. And in fact, he's known as St. Joseph the carpenter, the worker, and less of St. Joseph the Father of God, like we have Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus, the mother of all of us. So if you're looking for an inspiration to brotherhood, it would be important to look at a mission that places you where you're not necessarily recognized at the first sight by the people you are serving, but by who you are, and secondly, by what you do.